Hi, let's talk about rotten orange. So you are given a grid and the cells is either 0, 1 or 2. So 1 represent fresh, 2 represent rotten orange, 0 represent empty. And so every minute any fresh orange that is 4 directionally adjacent to a rotten orange. So in this case the rotten orange is here, and then direction the adjacent will be this one, so right or bottom, right? So the next minute will affect this and this, and the next minute will affect this and this, and the next minute will affect this, and the next minute will affect this. And we are going to return if all of the fresh orange is rotten, and if not, we just return -1. So if imagine you don't have the orange right here, so these two are fresh, so you are going to return -1. So idea is using the HashSet to store every single fresh and then rotten and update each fresh when it is affected by the rotten orange. So these two will count as infection. So infection, these two will get infection, right? So the next minute these two will get infection, these two will get infection, and then this one. So let's get started. So HashSet, and we can just technically store into string because x plus y and then will be your coordinate, right? So fresh equal to new HashSet, and rotten equal to new HashSet. So let's loop it for in and I, for in j, and then we can see if grid ij equal to 1, right? Then we can refresh the add. Well, what should we add? We add I and j, but I and j is not a string, so we can use a trick. So this will add to string because there's empty string right there. So else if grid ij is equal to 2, and then rotten the add, same things, ij. Alright, now we have everything, right? So HashSet fresh and rotten has stored the orange. Now we are don't forget we need to return the minutes, right? So return minutes. So while fresh, if the size of fresh is greater than 0, right? If this happened, which means there are fresh inside the grid, right? So now we need a infection as well. Infection equal to new HashSet. Now we can the direction, sorry, I forgot direction. Directions equal to 0, 1, 0, -1, 1, 0, and -1, 0. Okay, so we can see which direction we can go, right? In the rotten orange. So for string r rotten, and then in I will be the direction. So in the char at the first position, the first value we store, so 0, but make sure it's char, right? So let's just subtract the ASCII value, so our char at 0, and then sorry, it's 1 in this case because this is 1, the first variable. This is 0 index variable, and this is nothing. So okay, you get the idea. Now let's go to the direction. You can loop through the directions, and so now x will be direction x, the first one, plus I, and y will equal to direction 1 plus j. Now we can see the original y plus the prediction y value if list if fresh does contains the coordinate, if that contain, we need to remove. So remove. But before we remove, okay, so after we remove, we can add into the infection. So this orange is no longer fresh, right? If that happens, then we add, right? Now we try every single direction, right? For direction. If fresh does contain the coordinate, we just add. So what happened when we have no infection? When we have no infection, for this example, you don't have infection in, I think it's in this one, right? Row 2 column 0, this one, sorry, this one. You won't reach this one, which means the infection, the size of infection is 0. So if infection, the size equal to 0, which means you are not infecting anyone, but you are still the size of fresh is still greater than 0, so you return -1. So we need to update the fresh, we need to update the rotten, right? Because we are using the rotten hash set. So rotten will be equal to infection, and we need to update. Okay, we already updated the fresh, and we need to increment the minutes, right? Increment the minutes. So the answer should be like this. Okay, let me see if I have error or not. Okay, no problem. Alright, let's talk about time and space. So for space, you are storing the fresh and rotten, all of n, and for each single infection, I mean the worst case is all of n, right? And you are just increment, right? And so space is pretty much the worst case is all of n, and the time this is, you are looping entire single cell, right? All of n, the worst case. And for this case, you won't get too much because you won't get to all of n. The worst case, you won't get to all of n because you are expanding 2 directions at once. You are not doing one cell by one cells. So the worst case is all of n for time, and this is less than all of n. So that's it. Thanks for watching.